Let me ask you something. Are you moving forward or are you just moving? Because there is a difference. There is a difference between a full calendar and a clear direction. There is a difference between being busy and being effective. There is a difference between making money and building value. And there is a difference between saying yes to opportunities and actually having a strategy. And this is where a lot of people get stuck. They work hard, they care deeply, they do the things, they reply to the emails, they serve the clients, they show up for their families, they attend the meetings, they post on social media, they chase the invoices, they pay the bills. And then one day they look up and think, why am I so tired and still not where I want to be? That is the moment the Cheshire Cat walks into the conversation. Because in Alice in Wonderland, when Alice asks which way she should go, the cat essentially says, if you don't know where you want to get to, then it doesn't much matter which way you go. And honestly, that might be one of the most confronting business lessons ever written. Because if you don't choose your direction, life will choose it for you. Your clients will choose it. Your team will choose it. Your inbox will choose it. Your fear will choose it. Your habits will choose it. Today's episode is about direction before speed. Not more effort, not more noise, not another shiny idea. Direction. Because the fastest way to waste your life is to run hard in the wrong direction. Welcome to Grit and Grace, where we talk business mindset, wellbeing, leadership, and the standards that make success sustainable. I'm Donagh, and this is episode 3 of our Alice in Wonderland series. In episode 1, we went down the rabbit hole and talked about what to do when life changes the map. In episode 2, we met the white rabbit and unpacked urgency culture, the trap of always rushing, always reacting and calling it a strategy. Today, we meet the Cheshire Cat. And this episode is a big one because the Cheshire Cat represents something many business owners, leaders, and everyday humans desperately need. Perspective. The kind of perspective that stops you mid-rush and asks, where are you actually going? Why are you going there? And are your current choices taking you closer or further away? We'll talk about why direction matters more than speed, how lack of clarity can create exhaustion, why opportunity can become a trap, how to build a 90-day direction that actually means something, and how to know whether your calendar, your money, and your energy are aligned with the life and business you say you want. At the end, you'll have one practical action and one reflection prompt. So let's get into it. Alice is lost. That is the starting point. She's in Wonderland, where the rules keep shifting, conversations don't make sense, people are unpredictable, and nothing quite works the way it should, which, if we're honest, sounds a little bit like business ownership some weeks, and probably the world the way it is at the moment. She comes to a fork in the road and asks the Cheshire Cat which way she ought to go. And the cat asks her where she wants to get to. Alice says she doesn't much care. And the cat's reply is the lesson. If you don't know where you're going, then it doesn't really matter which path you take. Now, this is where we need to pause, because most people hear that as a cute little quote. It's not cute. It is brutal. It is the kind of truth that takes the air out of the room if you let it land properly. Because how many of us are asking for direction before we have decided the destination? We ask, should I hire? Should I expand? Should I start posting more? Should I offer discounts? Should I open another location? Should I take that client? Should I buy that equipment? Should I say yes to that opportunity? Should I keep going the way I am? And the Cheshire Cat would likely ask, what are you trying to build? Not what are you trying to survive this week? Not what are you trying to prove? Not what are you afraid of missing out on? What are you trying to build? And the answer to that changes everything. Let's be clear about something first. When I talk about direction, I am not talking about fluffy vision boards or vague words like success, freedom, growth, or balance. Those words are lovely, but they are not direction unless you define them. Because growth can mean many things. It could mean more revenue, better profit, more staff, Fewer hours, stronger systems, a saleable business, more locations, better quality clients, more capacity, less dependence on the owner, or simply being able to take a holiday without the business falling apart. And those are all very different directions. If one person says, I want to grow, but they mean I want more profit with less stress, then hiring 3 people and doubling turnover might actually take them further away from that goal. Another person might say, I want freedom, but they keep saying yes to every client, every committee, every urgent request, and every underpriced job. Then they are not building freedom, they are building captivity with a business name. And this is why direction must be specific. Direction is not, I want things to be better. Direction is, in the next 90 days, I am focusing on improving cash flow by tightening invoicing, following up debtors weekly, and reviewing pricing on my lowest margin services. That is direction. In the next 90 days, I am focusing on reducing owner dependency by documenting 3 key processes and training 1 team member to take over routine client communication. That is direction. In the next 90 days, I am focusing on my well-being by reducing after-hours work, protecting 2 exercise blocks each week, and having 1 admin day where I am not client-facing. That is direction. Direction tells your time where to go. It tells your money where to go. It tells your energy where to go. And without it, everything feels equally important. And that in itself is exhausting. This might challenge a few people. Being open to opportunities sounds positive, and sometimes it is. But if you don't have a direction, opportunity can become a very respectable looking distraction. Not every door you open is your door. Some opportunities are profitable, some are aligned, some stretch you in the right way, and some build reputation, capability, and confidence. But some opportunities are just expensive detours wearing nice clothes. They cost time, attention, energy, emotions. They pull your team in 3 different directions, and they delay the boring work that could actually change your business. And because they look exciting, you justify them. You say, oh, it could be good exposure. Oh, it might lead to something. It's only a small thing. I don't want to say no. It's probably worth a try. But the question is not, could this be good? The question is, does this take me closer to the business and life I am deliberately building? That question alone will save you from a lot of expensive yeses. The Cheshire Cat is the voice that says, before you choose the road, choose the destination. So let's talk about what happens when there is no clear direction in a business. You become reactive. Without direction, the loudest issue wins. The client who complains the most gets the most attention, squeaky wheel. The team member with the most drama shapes the day. The inbox becomes the strategy, the urgent replaces the important, and the week fills itself. You may still be working hard, but the business is being led by noise. Sometimes you confuse revenue with progress, and this is a big one. More sales can hide a very weak business. You can be busier, turning over more, and still be making less profit. You can have more clients and less peace. You can have more staff and more chaos. You can have more exposure and less margin. Revenue is not the whole story. This is where direction asks, is this profitable? Is this sustainable? Is it aligned? Is this building value? Is this reducing risk? Or is this improving the owner's life? Or is it just feeding the machine? The third thing is your team loses clarity. If you have a team, direction is not optional. People cannot perform well when the target keeps moving. 1 week, the priority is sales. Next week, it's admin. Then it's customer service. Then it's cost cutting. Then it's marketing. And then it's, why isn't everyone more proactive? And that kind of leadership causes fatigue. A team needs to know what matters most right now. What does good look like? What can wait? Who owns what? And how will we know if we're winning? Without that, they either become anxious or apathetic. What happens when you lose trust in yourself? When you keep changing direction, saying yes to things you regret, avoiding the decisions that matter, and ending each week feeling like you've been busy but not effective, you start to lose trust in your own leadership. And that's heavy, because business is not just a strategy game, it's an identity game. You need to be able to say to yourself, I am not doing everything, but I am doing the right things. And that's where leadership changes. One of the things I love about the Cheshire Cat is that he does not rescue Alice. He does not grab her by the hand and say, come this way. He makes her think. And that is what good strategy does. It does not remove the responsibility from you. It returns responsibility to you. A good advisor, mentor, accountant, coach, manager, or friend does not simply tell you what you want to hear. They ask better questions. What are you actually trying to achieve? What are you avoiding? What is this costing you? What does the data say? What does your body say? What have you outgrown? What would you stop doing if you trusted the direction? What would become obvious if you were not trying to please everyone? These are not always comfortable questions, but they are useful. And in business, useful beats comfortable. The Cheshire Cat is not there to soothe Alice into staying confused. He is there to interrupt the confusion. Sometimes that is what leadership requires. It requires the courage to stop mid-motion and say, hang on, why are we doing this? Not in a defeated way, in a responsible way. Because nothing changes until someone is willing to tell the truth. So what we've all been hanging out for is how to make this practical. If you are feeling scattered, unclear, or stretched too thin, I do not want you trying to redesign your whole life this afternoon. Start with the next 90 days. A 90-day direction is powerful because it's long enough to create progress, but it's short enough to stay relevant. So here's the framework. Choose one primary focus. We've talked about it a lot before. Cash flow, pricing, owner dependency, team performance, sales pipeline, customer experience, wellbeing and capacity, systems and documentation, stock control, debt reduction, profit improvement. This one becomes the lens. And ask yourself, what if I improved it in the next 90 days would make the biggest difference? Not the easiest thing, not the noisiest thing, the highest value thing. Next, we're going to write the direction sentence. So the structure will be something like, in the next 90 days, my main focus is this because of that. So to give you some focus, in the next 90 days, my main focus is cash flow because I need less stress, fewer surprises, and better control over decisions. Or it could be, in the next 90 days, my main focus is margin because we are busy but not profitable enough. In the next 90 days, my main focus is well-being because I cannot keep leading from exhaustion. Simple, clear, honest. Step 3 is now to choose 3 measurable actions. If the focus is cash flow, then we need to measure our invoices every Tuesday and Thursday. We need to review the debtors every Friday. We need an update of our cash flow forecast weekly. If focus is the margin, then review the top 5 services or products. Check the actual time or costs against quotes. Increase your prices or adjust scope where needed. If the focus is well-being, no work messages after a set time. Turn on that block. Do not disturb. 2 protected movement blocks per week, and 1 CEO or admin block with no client appointments. 3 actions repeated. Progress is not always dramatic. Often progress is boring, but it's done consistently. The next one is big. Put it in the calendar. So many people forget this one. A direction that is not reflected in your calendar, it's just a wish. If cash flow matters, where are you having the money meeting? If sales matter, where is the follow-up block? If it's the team that matters, where is the leadership meeting? If well-being matters, where is the recovery time? Your calendar will tell the truth about your direction, and sometimes that truth is confronting because we say something is important, but we give it absolutely no time. Let's talk about the well-being side of this, because unclear direction is not just inefficient, it is emotionally expensive. When you don't have direction, every decision takes more energy. Should I say yes? Should I respond now? Should I discount? Should I take that client? Should I work late? Should I hire? Should I wait? Without direction, every decision becomes a debate, and that creates decision fatigue. It also creates guilt, and you feel guilty working because you should be resting, or you feel guilty resting because you should be working. You feel guilty saying yes because you know you're overloaded, and then you feel guilty saying no because you don't want to disappoint anyone. Direction reduces that guilt because it gives you a reason. You can say, I'm not taking that on this quarter because our focus is stabilizing cash flow. I'm not available after hours because my focus is sustainable leadership. And that's not selfish, that is aligned. People who lack direction often rely on emotion to make decisions. People with direction use values, priorities, and evidence. And that is a very different way to live. So how do you know if you're on the wrong road? And there are some signs. You are constantly tired, but you are not meaningfully progressing. You keep solving the same problems over and over again. Repeated problems are usually systems that are asking for attention. Your success does not feel good. So if the business is growing but your life is shrinking, something needs to be questioned. If revenue is up but your health is down, you need to ask questions. If everyone thinks you're doing well but you feel trapped, something needs to be questioned. And you keep saying this after this season. So after this BAS, after the school holidays, after Christmas, after the next big job, after we hire, after we get through this month, there will always be another season. Direction cannot wait for life to become convenient. Another sign is you are saying yes from fear, not from strategy. Fear of missing out, fear of disappointing people, fear of being judged, fear of slowing down, fear that if you stop, you'll see how tired you really are. The wrong road is often paved with fear-based yeses. So your single action this week, write one clear 90-day direction sentence and then choose 3 repeated actions that support it, because repeated actions build direction into your life. In the next 90 days, my main focus is improving cash flow because I want fewer surprises and more confident decision making. My 3 repeated actions are weekly 30-minute money meetings, invoicing every Tuesday and Thursday, follow up every overdue account on Friday morning. That is practical, it is measurable, and it is leadership. So as a reflection, if I keep doing what I am doing now, where will it lead me in 12 months? Not where do I hope it will lead? Where will it actually lead? So the question is powerful because it cuts through the fantasy. If the current habits continue, what is the likely destination? Is it going to be more freedom or more profit or more calm or more capacity? Or is it going to be more resentment, more stress, more debt, more exhaustion, more avoidance? Now you need to be honest with yourself here. Not brutal, but honest. And honesty is where direction begins. The Cheshire Cat reminds us that the road is not the first decision. It's the destination. Before you rush, decide. Before you say yes, decide. Before you chase the next opportunity, decide. Where are you going? Because direction changes everything. It changes what you say yes to. It changes what you say no to. It changes how you spend your money. It changes how you spend your time, and it's very valuable. And perhaps most importantly, it changes how you trust yourself. You do not need to move faster. You need to move truer. Until next time, keep your grit and protect your grace.
In the quiet, before the daylight breaks, I'm drawing lines for my own sake. I've carried more than I let on show, still found a way to learn and grow. With steady hands I set the pace. fierce heart held in gentle space. I won't trade my peace for proof. I won't build a life without a roof. I'll rise, I'll rest, I'll recalibrate. Strong enough to do, wise enough to wait. It's grit and grace, side by side. Fire in my chest, calm in my mind. I'll build what lasts, I'll choose my lane. Turn pressure into purpose, paint it again. With grit and grace, I'm free to be all I am, becoming steadily. I won't shrink back to make it easy. I won't stay small to keep things tidy. I'll speak the truth, I'll name my worth. Put roots down deep and do the work. And when it's heavy, I won't break. I'll bend with care, then reset my faith. I'll measure growth in more than gold, in quiet wins and courage bold. I'll lead with heart, I'll honor pace. Ambition guided by restraint and grace. It's grit and grace, side by side. Fire in my chest, calm in my mind. I'll build what lasts, I'll choose my lane. Turn pressure into purpose, paint it again. With grit and grace, I'm free to be all I am, becoming steadily. Let it be simple, let it be true. A steady rhythm pulling me through. When doubt is loud, I'll still begin. Again and again, I'll choose to win. Not by force, not by fear, by showing up year after year. It's grit and grace, side by side. Fire in my chest, calm in my mind. I'll build what lasts, I'll choose my lane. Turn pressure into purpose, paint it again. With grit and grace, I'm free to be all I am, becoming steadily. Grit and grace, I rise, I breathe, I make my place. Grit and grace, side by side.